Okay, welcome back, class. Now we are going to move on to a new topic, new chapter, which is the
medical waste treatment.
Oh hey, didn't see you there. I'm Dr. Wu. I have a dilemma. So I just finished a lab study with medical waste and I don't know what to do with it. I've narrowed down to two options, incineration or autoclaving.
Oh, maybe we can help. I have a great method. Incineration will completely burn all of your medical waste into ash. You can even use it to dispose of pathogenic or chemically cytotoxic waste, such as chemotherapy waste.
Wow.
Wait, but what about all the emissions? Autoclaving is nearly emission-free and it can actually be used for almost any type of medical waste.
Both of these sound like great ideas, but how do they work?
For incinerators, medical waste is brought to the incinerator and put into the chamber. Air comes in at a rich air-to-fuel ratio, and it will give the conditions that are necessary to not only dry, but volatilize the waste. Once the excess air is added, it will allow for complete combustion of your waste. Depending on the amount of waste that you have, it can be fed into the incinerator at different flow rates.
The thing is, instead of burning all the waste, autoclaves basically act as a sterilization unit where you just apply lots of heat and moisture. The cool thing about autoclaving is, depending on the location, it could be a small lab or a big hospital, the autoclave can fit into a small or large facility, and it's easier to treat the waste on site. My team actually went to go visit one of these autoclaves, and we have some footage for you.
Alright, so this is our autoclave. Okay. So we mainly in our building we use it to either deactivate our like biomedical waste, so when we work with cells and stuff, we'll autoclave everything before it's disposed of. Stericycle is the company who comes and picks up our biomedical waste and box it all up, but they want it all autoclaved. It's potentially hazardous, human cells or anything like that. We autoclave first. People also use it to sterilize medias or broth if you're growing bacteria. What else? Just sterilize glassware before using it. So everything goes into bins, and I guess I can open this up. So someone was autoclaving some liquid here in some beakers. Not sure exactly what it is, but yeah. So everything we autoclave goes into a bin.
So you mentioned emissions. What are they?
Well, here's the thing. Incinerators are capable of releasing pollutants such as particulate matter, acid gas, metals, NOx, carbon monoxide, organics, and other materials such as heat-resistant pathogens or cytotoxins. Polyvinyl chloride, which can lead to dioxins and furans, is sometimes in the waste and can become a potential carcinogen.
Wow, it sounds really problematic, doesn't it? The great thing about using autoclaves is, if used properly, strong odors and minimal VOCs are really the only concerns in terms of emissions. However, each autoclave is actually fitted with a ventilation system to prevent this.
Wow. Well, some of these emissions sound really bad. Do they have health and welfare effects on our communities?
Unfortunately, yes, there are many environmental negatives associated with incineration, such as the release of greenhouse gases, acid deposition, and the eutrophication of aquatic systems. Some minor health effects include birth defects, cancer, and immune disorders just from people breathing in the air.
Okay.
Typically, autoclaving emissions can just cause minor respiratory discomfort or skin irritation. But the thing is, these effects can actually be easily avoided if you just step outside and get some fresh air.
Alright, so it sounds like autoclave emissions can be easily avoided. How do you control incineration emissions?
Well, due to the variety of emissions from incinerators, there are many control devices that have to be used depending on what certain composition of waste that you're likely to emit. For acidic gas, wet scrubbing, dry sorbent injection, and spray drying absorbers are the most common. For particulate matter, fabric filters, ESP, and Venturi scrubbers can be used.
Proper ventilation systems can usually take care of most of the typical minor autoclave emissions, The main emission controls method is not autoclaving waste that can be autoclaved. And that means things like corrosive chemicals, pathogens, or radioactive waste.
Wow, so both of these methods have their advantages. But what is it going to cost me?
I'm glad you asked. Incinerators have a capital investment that's pretty cheap. The cost just depends on how much waste you're going to be treating. The high cost in incineration lies in the operation, emission control, maintenance, and energy costs. An additional cost would be permitting and licensing, which comes from different state agencies. The EPA gives federal guidelines for incinerator operation and clean air standards that must be met as well.
Ditto on the permits. Autoclaves do have a high capital investment. It's about 1.2 times the cost of incineration. However, the operation, maintenance, and energy costs are about 1.9 times less than incineration, even with the extra purchases of things like biohazard bags.
So which medical waste treatment method is better?
Okay, before we move on, I want you to spend a few seconds to come up with your own solution, and then we come back for a discussion. Okay, so for this one, assuming you are ready, what's the answer?
It depends. If your waste is pathogenic, you need to use incineration to destroy it.
Nearly 90% of waste is pretty much perfectly safe to use in an autoclave and put into a landfill with minimal hazards and minimal emissions.
So you're saying that it's perfectly safe to put autoclave waste in a landfill? Talking with professionals in the medical waste industry, I've heard that a lot of autoclave waste is still incinerated. Why would they do that?
Public perception. People see the biohazard bags and assume the waste is hazardous when it's actually sterilized.
It's important to educate people about the public health benefits of not incinerating autoclave waste.
Interesting. What do you guys think?
Presenting Medical Waste